It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and piercer talk about some of the more common questions that people that collect tattoos and piercings ask. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, both located here in bitterly cold Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, there is some bitterness in my voice because of that.
Don't come here.
Yeah. I always say that if the weather was 70 degrees all the time, people would actually move here that don't want to be here. So
exactly.
It's kind of like
keeps kind of our riffraff.
It's our own personal fence, basically. In the crew today, starting over on my right side, your left side is Jimmy Two Cheeks St. John.
Hello.
Tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen.
I'm the Batman.
Directly to my right here is Jack Lowe, owner-operator of the Skin Kitchen Tattoo. My name is DaVo. I'm the owner and operator of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. We share space, and I do the piercing. And then there's Brent over here, which probably is new to you guys. Do you want to introduce yourself there, Brent?
I'm Brent, and I'm a tattooer. Here at Skin Kitchen, the illustrious Skin Kitchen in Des Moines.
Mr. Starr with 2 R's, y'all.
2 R's.
2 R's.
That's 2 R's.
Double R rated.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been at it there, Brent?
I've been tattooing for about 9 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, 9 years.
Rock and roll.
Nice.
Well,
Hitler.
we're glad to have you in the chair today.
Thanks, folks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. So what we're going to talk about today is tattoo reality shows. Are they real? Are they stupid? Are they dumb? Are they great? Are they wonderful?
accurate?
What are they? And whether or not there's anything in there that's really realistic. So
Yeah. Before we get too started, can you give me just a scotch and a little more of me?
Yeah.
Orange. No, just in my cans is fine. Yeah, just a little twist on that. Cool. Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Technical thing. It's kind of behind the scenes thing for all you people out there. You feel like you're part of it.
Yeah, I couldn't hear me good enough, so that's always a problem.
Always me.
But yeah, these shows, I think Miami Ink and the Hart and Huntington thing,
Yep.
I think those were the first 2 shows.
That I can remember.
And I watched those because it was, I'd never seen something like that before.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good. I think that the Miami Ink show, they concentrated more on the client and the story and the actual tattoo, where the Hart and Huntington was more of kind of a drama-based show of things going on kind of in the shop. And it didn't really focus as much on the artwork as it did kind of the craziness and the weirdness and the drama, kind of more of a circus kind of a show. And I liked Miami Ink a lot better, but it seems like, and they were relatively accurate, I guess, in both cases, because there is always a lot of craziness that goes on in a tattoo shop when you have a lot of personalities and stuff like that together. But it seems like the longer they've gone on, they've just had to keep that money coming in, so it's seeming more and more scripted, much more kind of formulaic and just way just fantasy. But to be honest, I mean, I really have not watched an entire episode of a tattoo show probably since Miami Ink and Hart and Huntington. I've seen bits and pieces and chunks here and there, but
Yeah, that's about it.
I have to say I've never watched one all the way through. I always felt like, it's kind of like watching my job. Like, it's the same thing when people are like, well, what about this studio or what about that studio? And I always go, where do you work? And they go, Target. And I go, do you go to other Targets on your day off and figure out how things are happening there? No, you fucking know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were good because they got a lot of exposure out for tattooing and, brought it more into the mainstream, which is a good thing. But with everything that's got good things, there's bad things. There's drawbacks. Like, people aren't completely educated with, like, they see somebody go in and I'm going to get a big rib piece of a ship sailing away, on my ribs and blah, blah, blah. Cool. Well, just go take a walk down the beach and come on back and it'll be done. Like, that's not how it happens. You don't draw a whole back piece in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
go across the street, have a
drink,
or have a pita, and then come back, and we'll have you all set up and ready to go.
Yeah,
and we'll do that whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah.
And there will be times when you'll have that client and they'll come in wanting something pretty grandiose and time intensive, and you tell them how long it's going to take, and they're just like flabbergasted, like completely blown away. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you know that it's done like a poke at a time. And it's done with needles. It's not done with like a big paintbrush or something. It's done with needles.
I thought there was some video editing involved.
Right.
I think there probably is. Just an industrial stamp that just comes in. You come in, we put you over there, we hook up the industrial stamp, and then just
please step into the press. What?
Can you imagine how frightening and painful that would be?
Yeah. Right. But at the same time...
Now we just cue the montage.
But I think at the same time, it gave people kind of that not accurate view. I think it also, though, took the fear out of it for a lot of people because, before, now it seems kind of silly, but you have to remember back then, tattooing was very on the edge, It
was almost a little
and
seedy.
So that's what a lot of people thought. Right. And then when those shows came out, they're not creepy people in a dingy, dark, gross place. They're actually, some decent looking
professionals
people that are doing some really pretty and amazing tattoos and everything. So I think that helped kind of, at least for some people, get rid of that sketchy idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus, it really exposed the general public.
Exactly.
To what was available.
It
used to be, unless you kept up on it and followed people on Instagram or back in the day,
you had to get a magazine.
Read magazines. Mm-hmm. You had no idea what was capable.
Nope.
You were kind of stuck in this, like, oh yeah, it's I guess I'll get this piece of flash over here because that seems like what everybody's getting. And that's what most people, I think, or if they had been exposed to tattoos, it was usually, the one that Uncle Frank got done when he was in the Navy that was done for God knows what. And so.
Yeah, and that helps artists too, if you don't have, like back in the day, the tattoo artists, they'd write each other letters and send pictures of stuff they'd done. It was a very closed loop, and you did not get to see very much. No. But now, and so, really in your head, to you, well, that's what a tattoo looks like, and making them stick pretty good, But overseas somewhere, there's somebody who's doing stuff that you can't even imagine, right? But you'd never know it. Well, now, if they did it today, I'm seeing it today if I'm on their Instagram,
right?
And then I'm going, holy cow, I've got so far to go. That's awesome. I got a lot to learn, and so it pushes me. If all I saw was my stuff and your guys' stuff,
you'd plateau.
Get stagnant.
It'd be really boring.
Absolutely.
I think it'd get really boring because you're like, geez.
Well, that's how the magazine days was, because like until a new magazine came out and you saw somebody do something newer, you were like kind of, we're all doing the same stuff. Like, oh, wow, this dude did something that nobody's done yet. Oh, cool. And then we're all chasing that.
Absolutely.
But now that you have the internet and your phones and the shows, like, it's way more fast paced. And you're like, holy crap, these guys are, there's some guys really out there doing some wild stuff.
And I think that's that's great for the client too, because as artists we're going to want to do the best.
Absolutely.
So
every
we're
time.
Always going to be
pushing. Plus back then, if you wanted to see a lot of these artists or know what they were doing, you had to go to conventions, and not everybody could.
Very closed little society, closed loop society and that's what I mean. Those shows put that little closed weird niche in front of front of everyone on the planet for
it's like pulling back the curtain for Oz, man.
So it really made it less scary. It made it way more approachable. It made it able to be talked about around the water cooler. Man, did you see that tattoo show? These people probably even never said the word tattoo before.
Right.
They saw that show. It was just,
and it was good because it really represented because if you look at prison reality shows, it's scary. I don't want to go.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So it really kind of expressed the idea that there's not just a bunch of...
Yeah, it's not just a biker gang waiting to beat you up and drag you in some alley.
They're not going to make fun of you for wanting your unicorn on your butt.
So, this really never occurred to me, but, I guess in a way, I almost would like to... I don't think I've ever met anybody that was on that show. But if I did, I'd almost kind of think I owe them a thank you for, representing... us as tattoo guys.
I thought they did a good job.
That's pretty. They did a good job, I think. Even the apprentice guy, I can't remember his name right now, but anyway, he was.
I think he's gone. He's dead now.
Oh, did he die? That's too bad.
So
anyway, I think they all, represented it pretty good because that could have been a disaster.
Oh,
You know, they could have been just complete idiots, goofballs, messing things up, and you know what I mean. But they weren't.
They
So
picked some great artists to go together. Chris Garver, excuse me, he's amazing. Nunez is a great tattoo artist. Like Ami's a really good tattoo artist. Like all those guys are top notch artists. You know what I mean?
And then they brought in Bondi, and then she just exploded. Whether that's good or not, she did.
Yeah.
So
everybody loves a cute girl that tattoos.
And now she has her own show.
Well, she had her own show. She's got her own makeup. She's got all kinds of stuff.
And there's all kinds of if you want to go ahead and search on the internet for your own amusement. On that one.
So as the shows are designed, I think they're fine. But because they're entertainment. You know, it's not a documentary.
No, you have to
It's
remember
not, real. It's obviously a show that they want people to watch so they can sell advertising to make money.
Absolutely.
So they're going to, and in that respect, cool. I have no problem with them. I mean, I think tattooing and tattooers are established enough now that, you can see some goofball tattooers and know that they're not all like that. Where back in the day, like I said, no one probably even knew a tattooer or said the word tattoo, and then they see this show. If they would have been goofballs, they would have probably thought, "Oh, that's crazy."
It would have been way scary to walk into a shop and approach that character.
Exactly. It took that fear down, so it made tattooing a little more approachable and a little less creepy and weird. It made it better. It made it easier at your 9-to-5 cubicle job to mention, I've been thinking of getting a little tattoo. I was watching that tattoo show. Have you seen that? Yeah, that is queer. And, so that put it in the minds and on the tongues of people, broke that little skin or barrier that kept it in that scary spot, and it broke into that.
It's with piercing, that was the navel piercing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it made it safe, that crazy video. It made it, from the Aerosmith. Yep. The band that got signed, I don't know. No, I'm not going to go down music history lane today. I know way too much about music. But it normalized it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of when people thought about body piercing before that, they're thinking about the genitals and the nipples and that hurts and everything. And then the navel came out, and all of a sudden we have frat girls or not frat, sorority girls lined up outside to get their navel pierced.
Mm-hmm. So if you're watching those shows for entertainment, great,
awesome.
If you're watching them to learn or really see how it is or it works in most shops or whatever, you're probably not going to get a real close. Now there's probably going to be some artists here and there, they're going to watch that show and go, hell yeah, man, that's like exactly my shop. But for the most part, I really don't think that a lot of shops really operate in that type of
it's not that exciting. It's kind of like everybody's always like, I want to come in when you get tattooed, and it's like, really, you want to sit there for 4 or 5 hours?
It's really boring.
It's not a spectator sport at all.
No, it isn't.
A lot of people do that too. They come in with somebody and they're like, oh, excited, my buddy's gonna get a tattoo, and like you get the stencil on, you start tattooing, and like 30-40 minutes into it, they're kind of like, so this is it, huh? I'm like, yeah, man, this is it, one stick at a time.
And they're looking for that way out, and they know they can't.
I'm like, there's a mall about a mile that way.
And see, the piercing version of that is they're really excited to see it, and then I do it, and they miss it, and then they're mad.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I'm like,
it's over already?
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again.
I'm like, I can take it out and do it again, but that's up to her or him or they. Anyway, I think that those early ones were more of a documentarian kind of idea or trying to go in that direction. And then we get into the cooking show version.
Excuse me.
I'm glad you're reminded now.
Well, it was a call.
Oh, okay.
I put my phone on silent. Apparently, I didn't put my watch on silent.
There's so many gadgets.
That would be way too much to remember. I mean, when eventually it's going to get to the point where we're just going to have to shut our entire body down. So
I love that.
You just shut everything.
Oh, I love that.
Like a remote.
So, Jimmy.
Yes.
If you were approached to be on one of those types of shows, would you?
No.
Okay.
Well, back when Ink Master started and a bunch of my friends were doing it, and around the second or third season, they were starting to do a lot of scripting and writing and stuff like that. And they were trying to make it more like a real world kind of reality, show with drama. And they wanted me to come because I was very known for being loud and, kind of obnoxious and making a lot of noise and telling jokes and carrying on. And they wanted me to come be that personality at the thing. But like the contracts that you get into are it's way more than just tattooing. Like you have to sign a contract with the television station, and all of a sudden you can't drink, you can't smoke cigarettes, you can't
have a moral
do this,
clause.
you can't do this. Plus, it's going to take us 3 months to film. Well, for 3 months I'm going to be living in an apartment in a city where I'm not tattooing for money. Like, what am I doing for money? You're not paying me while I'm here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, there was a lot of factors for me personally, but I didn't want to go on TV in front of everybody in America and become. Does anybody remember the first Real World?
Oh,
I didn't want to be Puck.
That wasn't the first one. That was like the second or third season.
Yeah, but I didn't want to be
That's
Puck.
what I was going to say. Is you would have been Puck.
I didn't want to be Puck to the whole,
because that dude,
industry.
he wasn't even like that in real life.
Right. But they
he was
made him
actually
out to
hired to be that.
Yes,
person.
exactly, and that's what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go on and make everybody in my tattoo community that I've earned their respect. Not only them, but like I don't want the rest of the population to think I'm a jerk.
And that is something to consider too. I mean,
because once you build that personality, it's like a radio personality. That's what people think when they hear you or see you. That's what they expect.
Somewhere out there's a video editor that has your name on it, and yet you're a villain all of a sudden. And
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah, they can kind of twist things in whichever way. But, you mentioned, that's something to consider too. Not only, all those things you mentioned, but especially, you're going to lose respect from some of your peers for going on those shows.
Exactly.
There are some people, for whatever reason, if you're on one of those shows, you're part of the problem. And people that think that way probably have different reasons they think that way.
Right.
But it is something to consider.
Well, there's always going to be a group of people that thinks that things were better before.
Oh, yeah.
What was your
it's like,
experience, Jack?
I mean, school, yeah.
You did a Tattoo Titans.
Yeah.
What was your experience like?
Because we should explain that's one of the more cooking shows.
Yes, that was more of the cooking show kind
It's
of
like,
contest
okay, we're going to
shows.
make this as complicated as possible.
Well, it was a game show more
Yeah,
than
it's a game show.
Yeah, it was a game show with tattooers, pretty much. But it's tricky. Am I glad I did it? No, but I'm not like sad I did it either.
It was a good experience, I would imagine.
I don't know. It was okay. I really liked meeting the other artist that was on the show with me. Going to New York was fun. I'd never been there. So, I mean, there were cool things, but the pressure, I guess I'm not into tattooing for those reasons, to get it done fast or to beat someone or to, go through all these hoops. There's enough hoops trying to do a really good tattoo without, putting all these other things on it. So it was like kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't, the way I looked at it. Like, what if I didn't? And then, oh God, what have I done if I do?
Right.
Yeah.
But so I was kind of extra pushed by the girl I was with at the time, and was really not in a good spot mentally, and with my art and stuff, I was kind of in a gray area, and I just I was just having trouble. And of course, that's when I have to go to New York and be on the show. But I did okay. I was happy with, what I did, especially the first tattoo. The second tattoo, behind the scenes things went on that they cut out of the show. Equipment wasn't working, things like that. And they were just staring at me and not answering questions and everything else. So I was a little rattled on that second tattoo and everything, and was really kind of happy to get voted off, because then I had one more day to run around New York. And I did with the contestant that got voted off first, and she knew some people around there. So we went and hooked up with one of her girlfriends, ran around New York, ate pizza, grabbed some beers and stuff. So really, I had almost rather done. Yeah, I would have rather done that than probably win.
But I feel like you, I don't tattoo I don't tattoo as a competitive sport.
Right.
I tattoo to put my best effort and my best artwork forward as I can in every situation. And when you go to like a game show setting where, okay, you're going to do a tattoo, you have no idea what you're going to do on a customer you've never met, you're not going to have hardly any time to consult with them, and then ready, set, go, you got an hour to do it.
Yeah. Oh, and here's some cameras and some famous tattooers to literally look over your shoulder
and rip everything you're doing apart.
Yeah. So and that was the weird thing is as I'm on my way to the airport, the producer or whatever for the show calls me just to kind of check in, make sure I'm getting to the airport and everything. And he's like, Jack, he goes, one thing we really, what I want to do with this show, the main thing I want to do is just show really good artwork.
Then don't put all those restrictions on us.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. That would be boring.
It was like,
it's not good TV.
So he knows exactly what you wanted to hear to inspire you.
Yeah, he's an entertainment guy. They don't tell you the truth,
right.
But it's just so telling that that's not what you want. By putting a time limit on it, by not letting me see, talk to the person who's going to get it, not letting me see the artwork, having the cameras around, having all this stuff going on, having it in a weird spot. I mean, obviously you're not interested in me doing my best. You're interested to see how good I can do or anyone can do under these conditions. And if you can do a better job than anyone else under those conditions, which is really fun to watch, even though the tattoo isn't going to be your best, because who cares about that? It's fun to watch. Yeah. It's fun to watch these artists struggle and screw up and
that's not a tattoo.
And so like I said, if you're watching that stuff for entertainment and things like that, and that is a game show, but it's supposed to be like real. But like I said, if you're watching it for that because it's entertaining and everything else, perfect. That's what they're there for. But if you really are looking to get a good idea of how a shop operates and how an artist, works, and there's a billion different ways, but
visit your local shop.
Yeah, visit your shop.
Check them out.
And after the pandemic, you can still. We like it when people hang out occasionally.
Yeah. I think one of the best shows that I have seen. I don't know if any of you guys have Vice. They did it's like a documentary, and it's on different individual artists.
Yes, they've done.
They've done Freddie Negrete. They've done Paul Booth.
I think they did. Ed Hardy one.
They did Chris Hall.
They did Freddie Corbin.
Yeah.
A lot of
great
great
Crayola
artists.
or something like that, or
they did Grime.
Yeah.
They did one on Ami James.
I met Grime in '94, I think.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Anyway.
Well, if somebody came into our studio and said, I want to get a tattoo, and then we turned to him and went, well, I'll give you a 20% discount if I could do it with one arm tied behind my back, with 2 hours of sleep in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd say, fuck you, I'm leaving.
Right.
And that's basically the situation.
Well, how boring would it be just to have 3 people in a room and go, okay, guys, just tattoo whatever you want, take as long as you want, and when you're done, let us know. That's not
especially
be
some
a
of the tattoo
show.
artists I've worked with in the past.
Well, that's why
that'd be a very, very long show.
For the finale, they've made it to where like they get their canvas. It's going to be like a back piece or whatever,
and they get
like a week or whatever to go home, consult, draw, do the tattoo, give the. Like a month, I think, or something. It's It's a pretty long time, but it's reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's when they're actually trying to get the best tattoo.
Yeah.
And that's when you put 2 tattoos together and you go, okay, who did the best tattoo? Because there was no lights, there was no crew, there was no.
Right.
Yeah. You're at home, you have all your advantages of being at home. Like, do the best tattoo that you can think to do.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of that. But other than that, I think it gets a little out.
Yeah, it'd be great if you guys were tattooing and I just walked around and went, okay, you're finishing the rest of this without black.
Right.
Just take you're doing violets? Well, no purple for you. I mean, it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Main reason I went on is because I kind of felt pushed into it and just to kind of get it over with. I felt because
it was a lot of fun to see.
So it was like a prostate check basically.
No, because you have to keep getting those.
Yeah.
This was more like like Jimmy and his marriage.
Because that's gonna last forever.
Just to do it, say you did it, and like fine. All right, I did it. If I win, great. If I don't, fine. But I'm not doing it again. That's kind of how I was looking at it.
And by the way, off camera, we're getting the signal from
Jesse.
Wife.
She's telling me I'm number 1.
Yeah, this means I love you. Didn't you know
I
that?
think that's what.
Yeah,
that's what
I've
was
been told over and
I
over
think
again.
that's what they
and
changed it to on the internet because the other meaning was offensive.
There
to someone.
are a lot of people out
Love
there
you
that
too,
love
honey.
me. I've learned that over the years.
L is for love.
But I mean, basically, what they did is they took Iron Chef and turned it into a tattoo.
Yeah, iron tattoo.
And if you even look at some of the dishes that are made on Iron Chef,
pretty rough.
You're not going to eat that if you have a choice. It's
Yeah.
not something you're going to go out and spend money on.
And
You're not going to go order it.
there is a difference in the restaurant kind of thing where it's you got to expedite things. It's kind of timed. When people go out to eat,
There's a certain period of time.
There's a certain period of
There's a
time that they
threshold.
plan on sitting and waiting for their food to come. So kitchens are chaotic like that.
Okay, so I'm going to
naturally, usually.
I'm going to copyright something. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to go to the trouble, but I'm going to. If anybody steals this, I want to cut. They should do something like Hell's Kitchen, where they go around the country. Or is that the one he does, where he goes and fixes?
Yes. No, that's where he goes and screams at the two teams.
Yeah.
You're
No.
thinking like
Okay.
Kitchen
So
Rescue or
the
something.
Kitchen
Gordon
Rescue or
Gordon
something. He goes-
Ramsay.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you have artists just randomly show up at shops and fix all the problems that are.
They
going
had a
on
show
in the
like that.
studio. They did.
Yeah, they had one. It was
Nightmare.
There was tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, there was another one too. They went around to shops that were in trouble, and they went in and evaluated like the people working, how the shop was ran. That didn't run very long, but it was interesting from a tattooer's point of view.
And that's probably all it was interesting to,
That's
and
all.
that's why I didn't make it.
Exactly.
too much
because
inside
nobody really
baseball.
cares about the inside workings of the shop.
Tattoo
Yeah,
Rescue.
Yeah, Tattoo Rescue or
was that
something
it?
like that, I think.
Okay.
And then Big Gus did the Tattoo Nightmares where they fix and cover up the
Cover
That's
up crap.
that's
Him and
ballsy.
Tommy.
I mean, there are
Dude,
some
they did
guys.
some amazing shit, but
I've known some guys that enjoy doing cover-ups, and I'll never understand them. I mean, there are times, I don't hate or really don't mind doing them, but what could the reason be for liking them? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess the challenge.
That's like
Yeah.
that's like going to the art store and going, "Hey, man, is all you have is new canvases?" Like, I really want to paint on one that's got some shit on it already. You know?
That was a common thing, though. There are some famous paintings
That's true.
that they covered up mistakes.
But that's not the point.
It's like
You can't do that. with
golfing with a handicap. Oh yeah.
But see, it
Exactly.
could be those people that are just bored.
Yeah, and they like the
Looking for a
challenge of it.
They
and
like the
everything.
challenge
And-
of it, which is there's nothing.
And
wrong
there's
with
an
that.
extra layer of gratitude if you not only do a great tattoo, but you got something else off of them that they
it
didn't
is
like.
rewarding.
changed
their-
So-
yeah,
if
it
you
is
can pull it
rewarding.
off.
I guess I can see that side
You've
of it.
improved their outlook of themselves.
Yeah, I understand.
Do you guys
that.
kind of come across the thing I get from time to time when somebody's like come in and they want to redo a piercing, and I'm like looking at the mark going, "Do you really want it there?" With like the what's there, they're like, "Oh yeah, I love that." And you sure you don't want me to fix that? That would be the hard part, I think, for me.
Well, I get some of those people come in with some like homemade tattoos, and they're like, "Can we like touch this up and spiff it up?" And I'm just like, "There's really nothing to do. It looks like the hands off of the hamburger helper."
You want to spend $2,000 to paint your Yugo? Is that what you're saying?
I could cover that up and make what you originally were going for look.
Yeah. How about we get rid of the Yugo, okay, and we get you into something real nice? How about a nice Toyota Celica?
There we-
Huh?
Super.
I can get you on it in some nice low payments, real low miles.
Yeah.
This thing's going to get you 150,000 miles down the road.
One owner.
Yep, one owner.
But
One
yeah,
owner only drove it to church.
She only drove to
one
church
day a
on
week.
Sundays.
yeah.
She was a school teacher.
She didn't even drive it back. She just parked it there.
Yeah, rode with her son back.
Yeah.
Car analogies are the
Yep,
most
yep,
fun.
yep.
All right.
So
okay.
one final thing, and then I think we've wrapped this up
Yeah.
pretty much. So how do you guys feel about the fact that, well, two things. First off, I'm guessing these canvas is kind of like the gumball machine kind of situation where they don't have a decision in what exactly they're getting tattooed on them.
Well, that's kind of the hard part for me on a cover up. If it was just on a piece of paper and I could just cover it up however and
Yeah, with
whenever I
anything.
just
That
wanted,
makes it
that's
easy.
yeah, no
that
big
would
deal.
simplify it a
But
lot.
most time people come in, they're like, "Yeah, I want to cover this, and I want to make it smaller, and I only want to use white."
Yeah.
No.
I
And
know.
you're like,
Can you
I know.
cover this name with a name?
But I'm talking about like the canvases on these cooking shows. Do they have a say in what they're getting tattooed on them, or is it just pretty much, oh yeah, you're getting this today, or you're getting that today?
a canvas on a cooking show?
No, on the tattoo shows.
The tattoo
competition.
shows.
No, well,
That's a part
on
I
my
didn't.
particular show, there was all three. There was one where nobody knew what we were doing. I didn't know. The client didn't know. Supposedly, I didn't. Then the second one was like a theme thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The second one was the person's idea, and then the third one was whatever we wanted to do, but I didn't make it to that part.
Wow. I don't think
Well, the one that the person wants to do is the hardest because, like, hey, guys, tomorrow
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to do a tattoo. You're going to have an hour to do it, blah, blah, blah. Hey, here's your canvas. Hey, I want a portrait of my grandmother. Like, well, that's a 5-hour tattoo,
Yeah.
dude. I can't do that in an hour.
This was
Well,
a-
they said it's what I wanted. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's something you run into, I've heard about.
So yeah, that's scary to me as
Well,
a
yeah,
collector
'cause-
of tattoos. I would not like that.
It's all about the 15 minutes,
yeah,
really.
it'd be like,
Yeah, you just want to be on TV.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Jerry Springer and all that.
Like-
Pretty much.
I don't hate on them.
No, not at all.
I don't hate on the
No, I'm
people
not
who want to
hating
get
on them.
tattooed on there, or the artists that want to go on there. I mean, not everybody is going to enjoy the same things I enjoy about what we all do.
Right.
You know, I mean,
I would like to see a show of them like 6 months later talking about the tattoos they got on the show.
yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be
Would be
Yeah,
neat.
But
that
that's
would be
only
neat.
going to discourage, I would assume, anybody from signing up to go on those shows.
Probably.
So you probably won't see that.
Dude, I've seen world-class tattooers make simple, tiny mistakes, and like while they're on that show, they exploit it like it's just
the end of the world.
the end.
Yeah.
Like James Vaughn is an incredible tattooer. He's one ink master. He's been on it all these times. When he first went on it, he was doing this pinup lady, and he gave her 2 left feet.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
And he thought it was fun. He made a great joke out of it. He's a great personality. James is amazing. And he made up T-shirts when we were on tour that said my 2 left feet. And like he fixed it very easy on the lady. He made time with the customer outside of the show. He put shoes on it. You couldn't even tell. But he got the biggest kick out of it. He's like, man, everybody messes up, dude.
Human.
If
Yeah,
you can't,
we
if
are
you can't
only
laugh
human.
about it,
Yeah.
you know, it's not detrimental. It's not life-changing. Like I put shoes on it. You can't even tell, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like he sold so many shirts at my 2 left feet, dude. It
Right.
was so funny.
Yeah.
So the next question, if you feel like we covered that, how do you think that now it's gotten to the point to get to that level of a celebrity tattoo artist, to get to that point where everybody wants to get tattooed by you and you're doing conventions and all that stuff? Do you think like you have to go on these reality shows now?
It helps, but once you go on the reality shows, that's part of your contract. Also, you're required to go
Your
to
own.
different conventions. You're signed on to make appearances at so many times as the group and blah blah blah. And yeah, like
Get
that's
on
all
the
part
bus.
of the package. Yeah, that's
We
part of the
own
part that I
you.
didn't
It's a
want to do.
circus.
Yeah. Okay.
know.
That's what I was always.
I don't think you would absolutely have to. I think if the internet didn't exist, you'd have to.
Yeah.
But
You can make it other ways
Because it
now
may
with the hard
eventually
work.
become a real.
It depends on what contract they signed.
Right.
Yeah.
I've met a couple guys that like, I mean, it was just dependent on what they did,
Right.
initially signing what.
Yeah.
But like there was famous tattoo artists long before the shows came along.
I know.
You can be good at it. It's just a lot of hard work. It's not as easy as, hey, I've only been tattooing 5 years, but I went on a show and now everybody knows me. And
well,
it's
but I think
two sides.
I think it's about as hard as it's always been because you had you didn't have very good exposure back in the day, but there was like 6 people that could tattoo
Right.
really good.
Yeah.
So now there's 60 million people
Mhm.
that can tattoo really good, but they're drowned out.
with all the other.
They're drowned out each other, even though they have this great way to expose themselves because they're just exposing.
I always use
But with
like,
that
I-
exposure, you have to be careful because if you make a mistake,
they're going to remember
when
that.
you're getting all that exposure at that moment,
Sure.
that's what everybody sees and is exposed to is that one mistake, not all this great stuff you've done. So I mean, it's a very touchy,
Definitely.
two-edged
I always
sword.
kind of use the toilet bowl analogy. It's like, there's gold in there somewhere, but you have to dig through all this stuff on the top to get to the gold.
Yeah.
And sometimes the gold floats, sometimes the gold doesn't float. It sinks right
Are you
there
talking about
at the
corn?
bottom. Possibly.
We are in
Okay.
the
Possibly,
state.
but I wouldn't suggest handling it.
All right. Well,
Without
It's an
gloves.
Iowa thing.
And change
I was
your
gonna
gloves
say
after you
maybe.
touch stuff, please.
Please. And wash your hands.
Yeah.
please
repeatedly.
wash your hands.
I think we beat this one pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good discussion. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this or found it likable or what have you, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you liked it, because we like it when you like it. Also, if you are listening to this, share it with other people, and subscribe wherever you're at. If you're on YouTube, of course, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single time we post these. Usually it's every other Sunday. If you like merch, you like swag, you like T-shirts and hoodies, like when it's cold outside, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. Pretty much, if you have any questions, concerns, or would like to see us cover any questions in the future, leave a comment down there in the comment section, and we'll be happy to try to answer that for you. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings and tattoos heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we hope to see you if your body piercing and tattooing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.
Guys. Be
Later.
nice.